Time to paint again, yay! Today we are going to be working with primary and secondary colors. Primary being the red, the yellow, the blue, and the secondary being orange, green, and purple. Okay, first things first. Go ahead and put your name on the back of your paper, and then you'll see that there are some templates here, different ovals. And it says big, then x3 times 3, little times 3. I'm going to trace 3 of these big ovals and 3 of these little ovals on my page. Now when you do yours, I would suggest using the big one first and then do the little ones just so that you have enough room. You can see that one I didn't quite have enough room for and had to do them off the page, but that's not a big deal. So now I'm going to trace over him in black oil pastel, add fins and a mouth if you'd like. I kind of experimented with different mouths here. I kind of like these guys with the big lips. Some fins and, did I say eyes? Eyes. Now, I didn't worry so much the fact that I didn't go over my pencil lines perfectly. Okay, and also look at that teeny tiny oil pastel I was using. I almost ran out. Whew, glad I had enough. Next step, I am going to paint my big fish first, my primary colors. You can see, here's what we're mixing colors on. You have a red, a yellow, and a blue. I'm going to paint one big fish red, one big fish yellow, one big fish blue, making sure that I clean off my brush really well in between every single time. There, so now I have one red fish, one yellow fish, one blue fish. And see, I was really careful to go up on my tiptoes with my brush when I was going around those eyes and at the edge. Okay, now I am going to color mix. And you also notice I didn't paint my fins and all the details. You can if you want to do those colors. I'm going to color mix first and then see what colors I want to do. So I'm going to take just a little scoop of the yellow, put it over here, and just a little bit of the red. I'm going to mix them together. Ooh, look at that beautiful color. That's a nice one. So I'm going to paint one of my small fish, that new color I just made. I think I'm going to go straight over that middle fin. Okay. All around. And done. Now I am going to clean off my brush. And let's see, I'm going to take one drop, or scoop up some yellow again, put it over here in the middle. Just gonna take a drop of blue, just a little itty bit of blue, and mix that color up. Ooh, it's going green. If you want, you can add a little bit more yellow. See what that looks like? Add a little bit more blue. I think I'm gonna mix my last color here now. Of course, my last one being red and blue. So I'm going to scoop up some red, stick it over here, just a touch of blue, mix that one up too, and there it turns kind of purple-ish. Okay, that one's a tricky one. And I'm going to paint the rest of my fish and all of the other details in with all my colors that I just mixed. So I finished painting all of my fish and all of their different pieces, and you can tell my green one is not so green. He was rather dirty. That's okay. I'm not too worried about him. And I painted all my fins, all kinds of different colors. The lips I painted different colors. And I'm ready for the last stage. This time I'm actually going to mix my colors right on the page. I'm going to make a tint. A tint is any color plus white. So I'm actually going to just paint some white right there on my paper. Ooh, kind of a lot of white. Look at that guy. And I'm just going to touch my brush to the blue and mix them together right there on my paper. So I love how this looks, how some areas are dark blue and some areas are light blue, kind of depending on how much white I used. And the last thing I'm going to do is take a little itty bitty paintbrush and kind of take my liquidy black here, and I'm going to do a really good job of keeping my paintbrush up on its tippy toes, and I'm going to go over all of my oil pastel lines. You have to be careful because it's rather wet. This is probably going to take us 2 weeks too. Up on its tippy toes, and just go over all of our lines all the way around. Again, the harder you press down with that brush, the wider of a line you're going to create. Okay, so if you just skate that paintbrush really lightly over the surface of the paper, you're going to keep a narrow line. Okay, very, very carefully. You can even add in details that weren't there. Let's see. Those ones, I'm going to go over all of my lines now. This stage is probably going to take you a little bit of time too. Okay, so take your time. Here we go, I finished all of my lines. I kind of decided too to add some details. I added some stripes to one, I added some fish scales, added some eyelashes, some polka dots. So it's totally up to you to personalize your fish the way you'd like. But again, we have primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, and secondary colors, orangish, purplish, and greenish, let's call them. Okay, and our tint, the blue that we created with the white.